Good evening, everybody. Welcome to In the Heart of Rage, episode 5, session 5, I think. Yeah. Um, what a half month, I gotta say. Things have been pretty wet and wild in a bad way over here. But, we're getting there. So, here's the schedule notes. Blaze of Cruelty, session 12. 5:30 p.m. on the 17th. Okay, so that's in 3 days, right? Heart of Rage, session 6, 28th, so end of the month. Okay, so that's 2 weeks. Then in March, we have Blaze of Cruelty again on the 2nd. We have In the Heart of Rage on the 13th. We have Blaze of Cruelty again on the 16th. And then we have In the Heart of Rage, session 8 on the 27th. Now, before we get started, any questions, everybody?
Nope.
None for me.
Nope. Okay, that's good. That's good. Everybody else good? We all good?
Yeah,
Did you remember
absolutely.
to advertise?
What'd you say?
Did you remember to advertise?
I did remember to advertise. I did. So, I did that in advance too. I used the scheduling system on Twitter because I refused to call it X, and I posted it around in a few
You just
Discords.
did.
No, I didn't. Said what I refused to call it. I'm not going to call it that.
Okay.
Alright, so last we left off, we were in the swamp. We were in the swamp. This is where we were. Swamp.
No.
You all were busy collecting some treasure and walking over here, and then you guys saw a figure camped out by the fire, and then Mordecai casually threatened them, and then poof, they were over here. Now, this is after you guys fought a big bad Hydra, which its corpse is now over here, just kind of languishing in the swamp. And yeah, that's roughly what happened. So I'm gonna.
I imagine I'm not stealthed anymore since I did threaten her.
Yeah, she can see you. So hold on. Let me just kill that.
Yeah. How far? Yeah, I can I guess the trees might be covered, but I can still kind of see that from here. Huh? I'm just
So
like, wait. Fuck.
go ahead and scene's yours, guys. Just sitting here on this rock, kind of watching you, Mordecai.
Yes, instantly. I'm in measure, not select. God damn it.
I think we'll Lord. basically be
Both
making our
kind
way
of-
and then being like, oh, well.
Wait. Wait. Who are we?
No. The lady.
Made a friend, Mordecai.
I don't know that.
How are you now?
Why is your knife out?
She says, "Oh, someone with manners." I
Good,
am
and you?
well. She looks across your whole group here.
Edelweiss actually gives a little like slight bow. It's just like fucking nice evening, I guess.
So I imagine. Hold on a second. all of you have had like 3.5 weeks or so to mull this whole scenario over. But I know for a fact, as far as I'm aware, none of you have discussed what your plan is to do here, as far as I'm aware, right? So, before anything else happens, just want to remind everybody, let's not trip over each other trying to do stuff. Let's give each other the air, as it were, to finish their sentences and to do their things, and all of that. So, that being said, let me go ahead and unpause. You were saying,
Yes.
Addie.
I was just gonna say, like, at the response to this, like, someone with manners, it's like she would give like a slight bow, but not too serious of one. Just like, um, what does Edelweiss see?
So this is
Who is this?
you can make a perception check as well. This is, to see how much detail about this person's appearance you uncover. But the general gist of it is you see a dark elf woman, young looking, could be very old for all you know, and white hair, long, with a sort of shock of red dyed hair in the front that's sort of like a partial bang but very rough. The rest of her hair is done in a long braid, and she wears a scarlet linen shirt and black leather leather breeches, and a pair of dark boots, very finely appointed. Doesn't appear to be carrying weapons.
Don't let your guard down. She has been just here with that thing we just killed.
Making
Pardon me, my lady, but pardon our extra care and caution. We are wandering through dangerous lands here that are known to be somewhat invaded by demons, and we did just encounter a hydra sort of thing over there. I'm sure you heard the scuffle, and etc. And we're just trying to make our way through this area here that, from what we'd heard, had been evacuated of all normal folk, and so we're a bit surprised to see someone just calmly sitting here at a campfire and in the midst of this area. It's a bit of a shock, honestly.
Exactly. Evacuated of normal folk, so who are you?
She kind of raises her hands for a second in a sort of I'm harmless gesture, puts her hands up, and with one of them, her left hand, she snaps her fingers. At that point, Mordecai, you feel something strange. Nobody else feels anything at all. It just seems like she just snapped her fingers and made a noise. But Mordecai, you feel something strange. You sort of like you're not here anymore, and you feel cold iron caress under your neck, and as you sort of turn, you feel your spirit leaving your body as you turn. You look back, you're still right where you were, and there's a figure behind you that is wearing a long red cloak, ragged, covered in grime and muck, wielding a long polearm scythe, and has sort of turned your vision towards them and says to you, as they get real close, they're wearing a mask, sort of like Luther's, under the bottom half of their face, except it's more of like a comical sort of set of, not really comical, but more of like a grinning face carved into it, but it's predators, long fangs and teeth carved into the metal. And the creature that has turned your literal soul away from your body says, "You're going to learn some manners. The only reason why you're not dead right now is because something else has control over your soul." And then you snap back to the present, to the now.
Now, do we notice
To
any of it?
reality.
You don't notice anything.
Okay.
Just that she snapped her fingers.
Mordecai goes a bit pale.
Excuse me.
Uh.
Captain. After she snaps her fingers, she says, "Well, I would say, if I had any fear of the demons, or if I was a normal person of any sort, I would, in fact, be quite scared and would have evacuated long ago. I only just got here. And I have no fear of them. So it is fine for me to have not evacuated." And then as Luther approaches, she kind of watches him.
I didn't know we brought Luther with us.
He just showed up.
Okay.
Yes.
I apologize. I suppose we've been going at this the wrong way. My name's Ben. Would you like something to eat? I noticed there ain't nothing roasting over your campfire.
It's very kind of you to offer. I don't need anything right now. Oh, you're Ben, and you are, and she points to the woman in armor, Captain Risa Corvaxia. These are my troops. Is there something we can help you with, ma'am? The figure says, "No, not at all. I'm fine." There's sort of a pall that comes over the air. The captain kind of shrugs and says, "All right then, you've been duly warned about the state of this region. You may come with us if you'd like. If you wish to go your own way, I will not stop you."
I'm gonna, well, as she's saying that, walk up behind the captain and kind of try to sneakily elbow her.
Okay, as she turns around and starts to head back towards the bridge, she says, "We should get moving soon. Yes, we should get moving soon. What do you want, Mordecai? Come over here and talk to me." And she's gonna start to head across the bridge, eyeballing Luther as she walks by.
I think before Ben leaves, he's going to just take the remaining 2 good berries and put them on a little piece of cloth on the log next to the fire. If you feel hungry later.
She watches you leave as well.
I'm not sure I've ever encountered anybody exactly of your kind. I do tend to collect information and lore and all those things, being a traveling bard of sorts. Would you care to share some more about who you are, your story, or things of that sort? Always curious the kinds of people you meet when you're traveling across the countryside.
She says in response, "Forgot how interesting these times were. Not today. Maybe if I see you again."
just to give you a word of warning, in case you haven't heard, Delta has fallen, and so I would not suggest wandering any further that way, even though you say you are not afraid of the demons. They're still not the world's most hospitable sort. So, if you're at all headed east, may not be the best choice for you, but just a word of caution, just a heads up.
She nods.
With me and the captain separated, I'm gonna say there's something seriously wrong with that thing. That was no human or dark elf or anything corporeal.
What makes you say that?
It looked at me and then it snapped its fingers, and I saw something. Like it tried to grab at my soul, but it failed.
We've been fighting for a while. Let's get to our next camp and get some rest, she says. She pats you on the shoulder and says, if there's something to deal with, we'll deal with it as it comes. But for right now, she hasn't done anything to us, and she seems content where she is right now.
You don't believe me.
It's not that I don't believe you, Mordecai. It's that dark elves are, at least the ones like her. And she looks over her shoulder back at the little campfire. What they can do is not very well documented. They live a long time, and they are as dangerous as the Imperial Elves. They just tend to be a bit more reserved. Especially the females. They are far more dangerous than they look. So, she's willing to let whatever insult may have passed, one made out of caution, mind you. I understand. I might have done the same thing if I was a scout in your position. If she's willing to let it slide, we should let it slide as well.
I understand. You're right as always, Captain.
To further the point, whatever clan she belongs to, if something were to happen to her, I am 100% positive they would hunt us all down, political affiliations or no. So, caution next
Lovely.
time you come into contact with a dark elf woman. We'll wait for the others.
Mordecai still seems a bit shaken, but he nods and follows her.
Crow. Luther approaches her and stands here and says, he looks over his shoulder and he makes like a gesture like, when are you going to? And she rolls her eyes. Zed's doing little loopies right here.
I'm sorry.
I'm just curious what you're up to.
Not what I was doing. Sorry.
Look back at her and, well, is there anything we can do to make up for the slight that we gave you, even though there possibly, at least in our minds, good reasons for our extra bits of caution and such?
Your good intentions and good reasons are why you're not all dead.
We greatly appreciate that. Being dead is something that we all strive to avoid.
I am
No.
very sorry about my comrade. If you'd like, I can slap him for you.
Unnecessary.
Any news of the road ahead? Depending upon which direction you came from, any news about what you may have encountered along the way would be most welcome.
She kind of closes her eyes and leans her head back for a second, and then looks forward again and says, if you follow the path you're currently on, you will eventually arrive at the duchy. They could use your help there when you get there. And then, after that, you will need to take the road less traveled. Not because of what lies along that road, but because the way forward will be shut to you otherwise. You see, as Luther was listening to her, he was looking at you, and when she gave that last part, he whipped his face around to look at her.
Did I notice anything strange, like while she was tilting her head back and kind of thinking, or whatever it was exactly she was doing?
How would you like to check that?
Well, I don't know if I sensed anything magical, or if I guess I could some sort of insight or etc. If I was if I
You
noticed
can make
anything
these checks
besides
if you'd
her
like.
head.
Insight and Arcana, if you will. If you want to open your magical senses, you can. That would be the Arcana check. If you'd like Insight first, I'd need you to declare specifically what you're inciting first, and then you can make your roll.
Do I notice anything other than she just tilts her head back and like closes her eyes? Does she actually make any sound or any other motions or anything like any kind of spell casting
Okay.
type? Any verbal or somatic components to anything?
Okay. With your 20 insight check, you did not notice whether or not there was any sort of semantic or material usage or verbal usage for any sort of spell casting. With a 20 insight, you are getting that there is something else going on here. You're getting that from Luther. Deli, do please. No crying. That he knows something. Because he's not being very cagey right now. Do you want to make your next check now?
Yeah, let's go for the Arcana check.
Okay. With a 16, you do notice there's a slight wisp of magic that happens when she does her, close her eyes and tilt her head back sort of thing. It's very fast. And the other thing that you notice is there's a pressure here. There's a pressure between Luther and the figure on the rock. Sorry, I had to mute because the dog. There's a pressure between Luther and the figure on the rock, the woman. And there's a pressure that both of them are exerting right now. It's kind of difficult to tell, but you can tell Luther is holding back the passive emanations that sorceress people give off. Magic users generally give off a amount of energy, sort of like an energy signature, like they're radioactive, for example. and a lot of them squash it as a means of hiding, and that's what you're sensing from Luther. And you're sensing something very similar, but much stronger from the other person. They're hiding how powerful they are, both of them.
Okay. And assumedly, I would know that Luther has magical abilities by this
Yes,
point.
he's a runesmith. As far as you know, he has magical abilities. He can cast spells. He can probably cast offensive spells to defend himself if necessary. So yeah.
You see, after we get to the duchy, we'll need to take the road less traveled because the other route will not be open to us. Can you elaborate a bit about what you mean about that?
It'll be obvious when you get there.
And let's see, is there any sort of history check or such that would maybe help me understand a little bit more about what it is that she's referring to? Or...
This is more of a general knowledge check.
Okay.
DC is pretty low. DC 8. You've been drilled on maps of the region, so go ahead and roll an intelligence check for that, and take a look at the region map of Corinth.
Okay, so let's see. I can click on int to roll that, right?
Yep. Okay, 19. Corvaxia lies between you and the rest of the highway towards Helcorth. It is the only large location that you could resupply between Delta and Helcorth. Going north is strictly out at this point from where you are, because it is hundreds and hundreds of miles out of the way, and would lead you directly to Rosterford eventually, if you don't get lost in eastern Scaraptica, right? Or the marsh. So there's some other road that she is talking about that might get you to Helcorth. Something between Corvaxia and Helcorth itself. Either that's around the mountains, which would be just as bad, or through them. Perhaps there's a mountain pass she's alluding to. You're well read, so you can make a history check if you'd like.
Do I know that she is even referring to that our way forward will continue on to Helcorth from the duchy?
She seems you put together with that 19 intelligence check that she knows where you guys are going.
Okay, so we're going. Okay, so she knows that we're probably going to Helcorth, but the normal road to Helcorth is somehow going to be difficult. Okay, so let's see if I know anything about alternative routes that she may be referring to, and I probably don't.
Nope. This is not something that you're aware of, unfortunately. So.
Yeah. A nat 1 is not your friend.
Nope.
So, okay. Yeah, well, we'll definitely take that under consideration, and thank you very much for the information. Is there any way we can repay you for the information, or?
She blinks very slowly and shakes her head.
Blink slowly.
I think she's losing her patience with us, maybe.
That seems a bit odd, but
Luther kind of turns and kind of like makes a get motion.
Yes.
Ben is similarly like on the bridge, stuck because he doesn't want to leave his friends behind. It's like, come on, I left the offering. They let us leave. Let's go.
Yes, I'm nudging Kitty along and conversation.
yeah. Well, thank you for your time, and we will take our leave, and safe travels to you through this land. And
Enjoy the berries.
Am I going to have to? I was about to say, am I going to have to carry another bard away?
As you guys are walking away, you hear the person say to Luther, "What is it that you don't want them to know?" And he says, "Shut up before you say anything else." And they get over there really much closer to each other, and it looks like they're having a conversation.
I will attempt stealth.
Okay, just can't help yourself.
I will attempt to contest this.
Okay. How do you want to contest this? And if you're contesting stealth, Praxia, go ahead and roll stealth.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to stealthily move to, like, still in the bushes here,
So is
The-
the
so I
kitty
can
going in the water?
stand within hearing distance.
That's a tree. Go ahead and roll stealth for me.
Okay.
And Ben, how is it that you wanted to contest that? You wanted to like
Basically,
physically
if
stop him?
his yeah, basically, like if I see moving into the underbrush, Ben will like stick out the stick, his quarterstaff, and be like, "Come on, they let us go. Strangers in the woods let you go once."
Yes.
So I dragged you back here for a moment just so we could resolve this.
Okay, sorry about that. That's okay. I was just intending to show you where I was planning on going. So then once we resolve this, then some idea. Okay, so
Strangers in the woods let you go once. I said. I gave a
Yes,
gift. They let us go
the strangers in the woods let you go.
once.
However, don't you think it's even the slightest bit odd? And I happily make use of message for this, so that way don't necessarily have to be. Well, no, I don't use message for it. I whisper, so that way I don't give off magical emanations of doing something. Whisper back. They let you go, yes, but don't you think it's the least bit odd that our quartermaster recognizes this creature, our person, and is busy having some sort of conversation or something with them?
I think it's incredibly odd, but I also think that whatever that's going on is between them, and if we want to be alive to figure it out at some point, we can't be squashed like bugs right here, right now.
Are we sure are we sure it will not impact us in the future if we are unaware of what's going on?
I'm sure it will, but I'm also sure that if, not to sound like a broken record, but if we cause further offense, I don't think they'll be as polite the next time.
I wasn't planning on causing offense.
If you think about it, do you really think creeping in the bushes is something she can't see?
Well,
Do you think
depends.
you're good enough at sneaking?
Depends, and also depends upon how occupied she is with talking with Luther.
Have I noticed this conversation?
Oh yeah, they're having like from
Like
10
a whisper.
Yeah, it's whisper.
Like a-
They're having a conversation. You notice the conversation. They're 10 feet from you, but you don't hear exactly what's going on without a perception check.
You do see
I do
Ben
that?
is like holding the quarterstaff in front of Praxia.
Yeah, I'd like to roll a perception if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
See if I can interject here.
The captain appears to be losing their patience.
Yes.
You're pretty close, and you've got good senses. I would say you're catching like 80% of what's going on here.
I don't know about you, but I might just be sneaky enough to be able to get close to hear what they're saying. It is,
The captain kind of,
after all,
rolls her head and says, "Get close enough to be able to provide Luther backup if necessary. Try not to be seen."
Do
I
you
asked
really
her,
think that's
Roxy,
a good
would
idea?
you like me to join him?
2 is better than 1. What did you say, Ed?
Do you really think that's a good idea, though?
Do you think it's a good
Considering
idea to
you
question
already
me,
pissed her off.
Sergeant? Remember your place. You have orders, Mordecai. Go execute them.
Aye, Captain. And I'm gonna roll my stealth. Let's see what the chances are I get fucking killed here. Woo!
And can
Yes.
I keep my 19 stealth roll?
Yes.
Oh, and actually, wait, don't I have advantage on stealth, don't I? Or am I looking at the wrong thing?
Why would you have
I'm
advantage on
trying
stealth?
to remember. No, I'm just
You have
ignore me.
You have expertise.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
That's already
I
built
always
in.
forget.
It's already built in.
Nice,
It'll
nice.
just gonna like stand
Okay.
like about right here, facing just like
Okay, so I'm
watching
gonna try to
people
make it
that
to.
way.
I think for some reason it just rolled another perception.
It did.
So yeah, that's weird. I clicked stealth, but let me try again.
Okay,
Oh.
there you go. 18.
All right.
There you go.
Cool. All right. And of course, I'm going to have Crow do the same as well.
Okay. The captain waves Ben to come closer. She says, while these two are getting in position, I appreciate you stepping up. I took a back seat to a lot of what was happening today just to see what my sergeants were capable of. When there are disputes between you, take them to me, because I do deserve to know what's going on.
Of course, Captain.
She says, and we'll wait here. Okay. Let's see.
Can I do one thing as well?
Sure.
I would like to prepare an action in case she snaps
Snaps
at
her fingers.
Proxy. Yes.
Okay. What's your prepared action?
I'm debating the wisdom of this, but I'm thinking to flick a dagger at her.
Okay. And she's 35 feet away. You don't really have much of a range restriction with your sharpshooter feature, so.
Nope.
Okay. So let's see here.
Hopefully it doesn't come to that because I don't know how well that's gonna fare for me.
Yeah, well, my intended cover story, if she notices, is that we're making sure to do appropriate scouting, so that way the more tender members of our group can wander down the road safely. We're just doing our due diligence. That's how come we're kind of going ahead of the party a little bit, making sure there's nothing in the bushes.
Okay. Let's see here. As you both approach and you're in the water. There's no way to get into where you are without being in the water. You're also next to a tree. This tree is, like many of the trees here, sort of mangrovey, where it's got large roots that are above the water level that's spread out. Large woody roots. So there's plenty of cover here as well. You have a pretty good view of her and of Luther. The two of you make perception checks.
Oof.
15 and a 10. Okay. Praxia.
I mean,
Go ahead.
it bounced it over to a 14 on my end. You think maybe, I don't know. I want to count that.
What's in the chat is what got recorded. So a 10 and a 15. Praxia, you hear a lot better. Mordecai, you only hear what Luther says because he's not really being quiet. He's also not calm. So he says, "What do you think you're doing? What are you doing in here?" She says, "I don't know what makes you think you're my boss, but I can go wherever and whenever I want." Luther, if that's what you're calling yourself right now. He says, in response, "You're not supposed to be here during this period. I can be, you can't. It's before when you're supposed to be here. We had an agreement. She says, things have changed much more than we expected them to. We cannot afford to play by the old rules. Luther replies, oh, have you seen something that changes the way we should be operating? Have you? She just stares at him. He says, oh, you have? Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. That's... How long? She shrugs and says, at the rate we're going, could be... I don't know... 2, maybe 3? He says, that's soon. Do we know what happened that sped this up? Well, you know how things like this go. And she flashes a look right at the two of you with her eyes. He turns around and, casually looks at the group over here. He doesn't seem to have noticed the two of you. He says, what, them? She says, no, not them, but people like them have constantly shifted the way things go. Back in Sorath, let's see, the Darthax, the fact that that fucking cat could speak to me rather than being a raving, bloodthirsty monster. The Scaldi being allied so soon. That wasn't supposed to happen for what? 8 years? Something like that. And where else? Oh, the Ansai are here. He shifts. Yeah, that one's palpable, right? Because they don't fucking show up until well after this is over. You should know better. Things have changed. He says, oh, what about the Inferni? Oh, you're just gonna pour oil on the fire, aren't you? She says. Yes, the Inferni are something that is different too. So much is different this time. Morris says, Luther says, well, I can't continue to just let you lurk around here. Oh, what are you going to do about it, Morris? You going to stop me? Don't use my name here. Well, you think you're going to stop me. You know you can't stop me any more than we could stop the other one. Any more than I can stop you. Don't give me any more lip about this, about any of it. When was the last time you talked to him? He shifts extremely uncomfortably. Been a minute. Been more than a minute. I know this stuff. And that fucking sorcerer over there playing with fate and time has pissed him off. Every time he does something with it, it's another wrinkle. We don't need any more of those. It speeds things up. What do you want me to do about it? The sensible thing would be to kill him. I sense a but. But, yeah, big softy. Shut up. But he still has a role to play for now. I'll talk to them. I don't care if you fucking talk to them. only reason why I didn't kill them all right now is because there's still some things that they can do that might shift this for the better. You know how this has to go. The enemy is nervous. And the more nervous they get, the more willing they are to torch it all. The more willing to torch it all, the worse it gets. Right. Right. Alright. So what do you want to do? Well... Do you want to kill me and, you know, walk away, make it look good, that sort of thing? He's like, yeah, sure. And he just reaches out his hand and blasts her, and she falls off the rock. You guys all see this. The rest of you hear this, and she appears to be dead over there. He walks away.
Ben will run up to him. Are you okay?
Yeah. She got uppity. Come on, let's go.
I'm gonna look over to Proxy. We can't let him know that we've seen this. We need to watch him.
Don't stand in my way, Ben.
I think Ben is, in a moment of impulsivity, is going to run back here, grab the berries from the log, and wrap them in that cloth and place them on her body.
Okay. Yeah, you do that.
And then he'll run back to the group.
Fucking the fuck.
Do you say that out loud, Edelweiss?
I mean, she was watching through the trees, kind of like, yeah.
Okay, he says, don't worry about it. Sometimes there are just fights that have to happen between mages. And he keeps walking. The captain catches up to him.
I'll keep an eye on her for a little bit longer. You see, because like she is at least pretending that that Luther killed her, and a quite surprising show of power. Now, I'm assuming I would have felt the arcane nature of that.
Yeah, you did.
Do I have any idea like what it was that what spell or ability that it was that he used?
Yeah, so you've heard of just there are spells that are straight killing spells. He used one of those on her. And she didn't defend herself. She let him do it.
So of course that makes me wonder even more if she's dead.
Do you wait for everybody to leave? Or what are you doing? Because it looks like everybody's going to be leaving.
Yeah, I wait a bit longer. I mean, I keep an eye on things just to make sure that I kind of glance back over my shoulder, see if I see the other folks, make sure that they don't get too far away.
Ben wouldn't let them get out of sight.
The captain turns around and says, let them catch up. They know where we're going.
When you return, pretend we were on a scouting run. You didn't see anything, and you came back. I'll come from a different direction, and I'm gonna slink off into the night.
Okay. Praxia, you're just gonna wait for a minute after Mordecai slinks off?
Yeah, that way we're not appearing at the same time as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So...
gonna put out fire?
Yeah, it's just gonna be... It'll burn out eventually. So, as you wait, how long are you willing to wait?
I guess probably like 5 minutes.
Okay. Ben and Ed, have you left the area?
I think.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Ben is concerned enough about Praxia that they're going to expend another wild shape to summon a small owl spirit to watch Praxia.
Okay. You summon your owl spirit, and you probably walk off with Edelweiss, just like hand on their shoulder and let them lead you. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Mordecai and Crow, you guys leave. So Praxia, you're the only one left. And as most of them have left, you see her get up and sort of shake herself off, roll her shoulders a little bit, and let me go ahead and put her token back on the field. She
Also,
walks to the fire. You would also see this, Ben. And with a wave of her hand, she snuffs it out. When she's walking by, she says, loud enough for you to hear, Praxia, nice little treat for you mortals. But next time you hear something that you shouldn't hear, you might want to consider that it's not for you to hear. Little gift.
Thank you, my lady. I'm just doing my duty to help scout for the party. Didn't mean to get in the way of anything.
She stops for a second at the edge of the bridge and says, you, myself, and the one looking through the owl all know that if I didn't want you to see what you saw, or want you to hear what you heard, you wouldn't be here anymore, and we'd be finding out where Ith go when they die.
Perhaps, my lady, you do have a point. But since we're not finding out where Ith go when they die, you must have some reason for wanting that discussion to, or not minding at least that the discussion was overheard.
I like seeing him squirm. It's fun. And she walks away.
Before she walks out, you did mention that there's some way that possibly those like us can make things better. Any suggestions as to what that might be? Because it sounds like from what you were discussing, this is something that's happened before.
Keep doing what you're doing. Don't think too hard about it.
Well, my lady, thank you, and we will keep on keeping on. You have a nice rest of your night.
She walks away, and as she's walking away, she sort of steps into what suddenly appears as like a seam in the fabric of reality, and threw it into some other plane.
Now, is this where I would make an Arcana check or a History check, or both?
Arcana would be more apt. History could get you some part of the answer.
Well, see, History might give me some idea. I might have some idea what they're talking about.
Okay, if that's what you want to check.
But we'll check the Arcana first.
There's only one place you can go to when you teleport. That's the Spectral Realm. She just walked into the Spectral Realm.
And I'm assuming the Spectral Realm isn't somewhere you necessarily want to go?
You don't ever want to go there. That's not a fun place. It's where every human soul or thing with an immortal soul goes when they die. Their soul passes into the spectral realm, and then eventually they obliterate from there, or they are mauled and chewed upon by shades and other denizens of the spectral realm until they obliterate. It's a very horrible end. There's no good ending.
So the fact that she could just teleport there, that's probably not a low-level ability, and the fact that that seems to be her normal thing to do. Yeah, she's probably scary powerful.
Yeah.
Could Ben perhaps make an Arcana check on this?
Yes.
I'll let you do your Arcana check before I do my history to try to figure out what she may be talking about.
22.
22. So through the eyes of the owl, you do see the same thing, and she, specifically, are you looking more to understand
How she did it.
how she
What?
did it?
Yeah.
So she used some kind of spell. There are spellcasters that are able to cast spells without any somatic components, any verbal components, and any material components. They can just do it by will alone. So she didn't make it, she just walked into it, right? She tore open the fabric of reality and walked into it by her own will. That's not just several orders of magnitude up above you. That is something that demons can't even do. That's something that if the gods could do that, they would be out of their prisons. That's not normal. That doesn't fit in with the metaphysics at all.
Right.
Even with like a plane shift spell, you need to do stuff and things, and it takes a while.
You need a key and all that nonsense.
Yeah, you can't, there's no way you can do that without any ability, any other stuff. The fact that she did places her well above the norm, well outside the metaphysics. So she's either some kind of blessed champion of some kind of god, or it's a natural ability.
And given her chat that she just had with what did she call him, Morris?
Mm-hmm.
The entity that we know as Luther, it seems likely that he possibly has similar ability, right?
But that would be a logical
level
deduction.
ability.
Yeah, that'd be a logical deduction.
Okay. So now we reach into our history knowledge, and we get a 26.
Okay. Are you specific? What are you specifically trying to figure out from that?
Well, first of all, what it is that they were, what it is like they were discussing. It's like there's something is being sped up. There's things that they mentioned. Like I know who the Onsai are, and etc. I know history and geography and those things. So what is it that they're talking about? That this happened didn't happen for like 7 years from now.
It sounds like they're talking about stuff that's already happened that shouldn't be happening yet. And from a history standpoint, that doesn't make any sense, right? Because you're living in the present right now. The stuff that happened already that they mentioned, that's happened. Why wouldn't it have happened, right? What your 26 does give you is it connects the dots between what your Arcana check was and what you had read a while ago, and you realized back at camp. That dark elf is probably one of the forgotten. And that explains how and what, but not any of the why, not any of what she's doing here, why she's doing any of it. It does implicate Luther as being either in cahoots with her or them, whatever sort of, if there's an organization, which was alleged in their conversation. You're getting the impression from that history check, there's nothing that jumps out of you from a historical events sort of thing, but as an extrapolation, you are understanding that there is some kind of organization that is very involved with the order of events and how things play out amongst the various peoples of the world. And a forgotten is involved in that.
At least one forgotten.
Yes, at least one. And this is sort of
No.
of the levels of, because 26 is really good. This is sort of the levels of pre-planning and execution that the dark cults get up involved with when they are trying to subvert humanity and, you know, return this world to demons, right? Because they will, you know, dig out places and they will stash stuff for a conflict that could happen or might happen or is foretold in their holy books, you know, 2,000 years from now, right? They don't act in any sort of fast fashion. They plan ahead and they do that sort of stuff at the behest of their masters. This whole conversation felt sort of similar to what they do, in that it's all slow moving and everything is pre-planned out and, you know, that sort of thing. And it seems like she was upset that stuff was happening faster than what they should be.
Yeah. And there's somebody that apparently they report to because she asked if he had spoken to him recently.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently there is some adversary to what they're doing that at least tends to burn and destroy things.
Mm-hmm.
From the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have a sorcerer in our party, don't we?
You have a wizard.
Okay. And so given that she mentioned a wizard that is playing with time and chance, is my good enough to kind of connect the dots that that's who she may be talking about?
Yep.
So there's someone in our party that is helping to accelerate things.
Yep.
And accelerate things, according to at least our wonderful, trusted, amazing guy of a quartermaster, is bad.
Accelerating things is bad. That's the impression you got.
Yeah. And it's unknown whether our captain has any idea of any of this.
Right.
So there's like two of us that as far as we know, that realize that this is going on behind the scenes.
Yep.
There's no historical precedent whatsoever for this, at least in my mind, at least that I could tell.
Nope, not with 26.
Is there any? Is there any religious precedent for something like this happening?
Religious precedent? You can roll a religion check if you'd like.
Yep. Because it's like it's possible that they're a champion of some deity or something was the thought you said that came to my mind a moment ago.
So the light gods have their PR teams, where they have better PR than the demons. They don't get involved like this. They like to give mortals stuff, where they'll be like, here's a holy sword, go slay demons with it, right? And influence people that way through those sorts of miracles, right? Or like their priests and such will bring people back from the dead and, you know, that sort of thing. And they'll argue, it's not necromancy, it's divine magic, it's from the light gods, etc. Right? So there's that end of things. From a religious standpoint, the neutral gods don't get involved. They're all happy in their little paradise, all the way to the west, doing what they do, whatever that is. The dark gods have markedly less patience than the light gods, and in fact are sponsoring the current extra dimensional invasion that Tal is leading. So, we are out of gods, right?
Yep. So there's no religious precedence for this, no historical precedent. This is something that I have no concept of what it could be.
Right. Which is scary, because you rolled super well.
Yes, and so I make my way kind of a slightly more circuitous route back to the rest of the folks.
Okay. You arrive in camp, and we are back at camp, and you guys can go ahead and continue from there.
Now, assumedly, we're camped further down the road, or is it we're camped in the same place?
You're camped further down the road. I only have one swamp camp. I made many maps for this game. I wasn't going to do repeated swamp camps, but I did do other camps for you guys. Just
Yeah.
not more than one swamp camp. So just imagine that it's slightly different.
That's fine. Yeah, that's like I know we were trying to find we were tasked to help find a safe place to camp. So I was assuming that's what we had done. That we had found a place that okay, we could camp here. This seems okay.
Yep.
I was gonna
I'm
make
just
the
making
same
sure not
joke.
to make assumptions that were unfounded.
What were you going to say, Zed?
I was gonna make the same joke. It's like it's amazing we keep finding the same perfect spot to.
Right, further down the road. Oh, there's another perfect swatch. Look at that. It looks just like the other one. Amazing. Okay. So yeah, Steve's yours, guys. I know you're all a little blown away. Do you want?
Ben's got two things he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone wants to go for it.
Same for Mordecai. I've got some stuff.
I'm going to.
I've had a good bit of screen time for a bit, so why don't y'all do some stuff before while I think about if there's anything I need to do.
I'm going to remove hidden status from people while you guys are talking about that. So
the first thing Ben is going to do is look for Mordecai.
Oh, Mordecai's right over there.
Hey.
Mind if we chat a moment?
By all means, have a seat.
Somewhere private.
Uh-oh, Dad's mad.
Oh no.
Hob, you're in charge while I'm gone.
I'll return him in one piece, I promise.
Hob says, "Oh fuck, I'm too old for this shit."
Why are you still in the Force then?
I don't have a choice, man. I'm into they're my ears.
I can't help you.
No, you can't. Okay.
The secret log for secrets.
Yes, secret log. Okay.
Now I ain't saying shit about that book of yours. But I think you should tell me what you heard.
I couldn't actually hear the elf lady speaking, but from what I could tell, I think Luther is subservient to her. She was... Go ahead.
I was going to say, and what are they serving?
What do you say? I'm sorry.
What end are they serving if he's subservient?
That I don't know. She was further away. He was talking loudly, and I could only make out half the conversation. But I'm of the mind that he's not on our side. But he doesn't know that we know. And I'm going to follow him around later tonight. I want to see if I can figure something out. Find him making a mistake.
Now hold for a sec. Can you tell me exactly what you heard him say?
Shit, I'm trying to remember exactly some of the things he did say.
We did it live on air with everybody. You could
Namely-
just say, "I tell him."
I tell him.
So, what I gather from his half of the conversation is he's talking about things happening out of order and defending his decision making, criticizing her for interfering.
Yeah, something like that. And you should know how to. When she looked at me and she snapped her fingers, you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I was in another place for a moment. It must not have been for more than a quarter of a second, but I was elsewhere, and she tried to take my soul, but the book spirit protected me.
I'd like to make an insight check about that statement.
You can make an insight check about that statement. You may also make a intelligence check. This intelligence check, if you roll high enough, will give you the question that you actually need to ask.
Okay. First, the insight check.
Oh, yeah,
20.
he's telling the truth, my guy.
I guess the question is there any misrepresentation there?
Is there any misrepresentation there, Mordecai?
Not really. I didn't say anything about what I encountered in that land, in that place, but that's pretty much essentially what happened.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not. It's just the idea that is different from what we heard it say live.
Yes, because he didn't give you a description of what what the figure looked like, right? Or how he suddenly was aware of this. So he's relaying it to you, but he's leaving a lot of stuff out.
Okay. As far as that goes, I'll make the intelligence check now. That is a 9.
Unfortunately, that's not high enough for me to give you the question that you need to ask.
Well, I guess the things.
You can arrive at it on
Ben
your
still
own,
has
of course, but you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben. Exactly how did she do that?
I have no idea, but when I was in that place, I was told.
Describe it to me.
I describe it to.
You need
Ben.
to make a history check first.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you did.
That's fair.
Because I didn't describe it to
Alrighty.
you. You were there, but I didn't describe it to you what it looked like.
That's fair. That is totally fair. I think I was about to ask, for some reason I pictured it as like just a black background kind of. No, go ahead.
So what you had experienced, was very traumatic for your mind. Mainly because you didn't know what you were seeing, right? But now that you think back on it, you recall seeing sort of yourself and everybody else, and then as your attention was pulled away, all that faded away and was gone. And it was just the land as it was, sort of. It was different. It was twisted. It was wrong. You recall a wind that blew and pulled you in one direction and then another, as if the wind was finding something or searching for something. And everything sort of had like a shadowy or dark sort of quality to it, like it had been plunged into darkness or shadow forever and never recovered. It was a lightless place in that regard, but you did not need your eyes to see. And the last thing about it is the sense that when you had shifted from, your awareness had shifted from the physical to where you went, was that you were kind of crushed between two different mountains, scraping against each other like fault lines, both hot and cold, like magma and the depths of a space on a freezing comet, that sort of thing. Those sort of extremes in temperature at the same time. It was only for an instant, but it was traumatic enough that you had blocked it because there was something worse happening to you, and that was what the figure was doing.
And I'm remembering all of this, or are you saying that I don't?
You're remembering all of this now. That's why I'm telling you.
Right. Okay. It's truly hard to remember, but it was this darkened hellscape, and I'll kind of go into the same detail you just told me.
Sure.
And what happened? This described a figure? What did they say exactly?
They put a blade to my neck, and they said that the only reason I'm alive is because something else holds my soul.
That don't sound much like protecting to me.
Like what?
Protecting.
That don't sound much like protecting to me.
Perhaps not. But I'm glad that she couldn't take it all the same.
I sent an owl back to look after Praxia. And she knew you were there the whole time, you and Praxia. She intended for us to see it.
I definitely got that kind of feeling. Although I'm fairly certain Luther had no idea.
Now you think, if Luther's been helping us all this time, and she ain't, and she knew we were there, and he didn't, then who stands the most to gain from turning us against Luther?
That's a good point.
I'm not saying he's telling us everything, and I'm not saying he's being honest, and I'm not saying he doesn't have an ulterior motive, but we shouldn't blindly assume. Anyways. The description Mordecai gave, is it similar to what I saw the portal open into? Or is it similar to what my mother's told me of the spectral?
Yes, on both accounts.
You were moved into the spectral realm. She can enter it at will, it seems. That's magic. Stronger than my mom's. Stronger than anything I've ever heard of. Stronger than God's, maybe.
It's also
what I'm trying to say is
impossible. Just kind of smoothing out the lore there that you should know. It's impossible for his awareness to go there without dying.
Right. You shouldn't, short of magic as powerful of hers as hers, you shouldn't have been able to go there without dying yourself.
And I just threatened that with a paring knife.
And what I'm trying to say is, if Luther is, well, even close to her caliber, we want to be incredibly careful with how we approach him as well.
I agree. I plan only to surveil. I won't let myself be caught, but we need to know exactly what he is up to and what he is doing.
Given that conversation, the idea of talking about things out of order, you know what that sounds like, right?
I'm not sure I follow.
It sounds like our wizard friend. It sounds like messing with fate and time and seeing the future.
He did have that fainting spell, didn't he?
The one where he saw her green eyes, yeah.
That's something to think on.
What it means to think on is I don't put much stock in seeing the future. Rather, the only proper way to see the future is to know the present. But if they're doing it, then we should presume that, short of our wizard friend's abilities, they'll see us coming. So,
Would ask the book, but we
No.
would stand a chance of that causing something to happen rather than just learning something new.
the book don't cause things to happen. I told you before.
You don't know that.
I don't know that any more than you don't know that it causes things. All it's done so far is write down stuff that turned out to be true. That's not causative. Think when there's creatures as powerful as that running around, you gotta act like a mouse. Don't be seen. Don't be heard. Stay out of their way.
I agree. I need to talk to Luther anyway in person, so I'll have a chat with him, but it won't be anything regarding this. I might bring up some suspicion to keep him on his toes, but that way he won't suspect that I'll do something other than just speaking to him and asking him.
Also, you know she ain't dead, right?
I had a guess. That seemed far too easy.
She stood up 5 minutes later and ripped a hole in reality.
Oh, hell.
Like I said, more powerful than gods. In any case, I have a requisition to fill for my quartermaster as well. You can go first, though.
I'll we'll talk to him separately, I suppose. Make things a bit less suspicious.
Then we'll go check on Saifashai and the Shogun, and let everyone else do stuff.
Okay. Darrow, I see you approaching Luther. Does anybody else want to do stuff?
I was gonna let someone else act before I try it.
Okay. Okay.
Which squad is currently keeping watch?
Currently, it would be the captain's guard.
Okay. Yeah, I was just making sure that I didn't need to tell my squad to go survey the perimeter. So, yep. While this is going on, I will wander over and Luther's book if I can find him.
Okay.
You?
Find myself, and Luther is
Connor.
Over here.
okay. Luther is here, right?
Yeah, that's Luther right there.
Okay, where you just pinged. Okay.
Yeah.
So I wander over here.
You're walking. You're on your way, but you see Praxia and Luther. together with the captain and Luther.
Nice work you did back there. It seemed like she was letting us go. Glad you had her back, sir. Not sure what we'd do without you.
Make a deception check. Pretty good.
Just, man, a few items I was looking to see if you happen to have stores. What stores we happen to have with us? You don't happen to have like a light crossbow or hand crossbow or something like that, do you?
Yeah, I can get you something like that.
Be greatly appreciated. And I'm not sure if you have slightly heavier armor than what I currently have. I hear that it's possible to, through practice, eventually gain the ability to be somewhat better armored.
Yeah. Are you looking for something like some scale, or are you looking for studded leather? What are we talking?
I already have studded leather, don't I?
You have regular leather armor.
Okay. No, well, let's see, I forget which is they're both scale and chain are both medium, right?
Chain, I think off the top of my head, is a little heavier than that. It's chainmail.
It is considered heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy armor.
Okay.
So that's
Okay, scale.
scale
I
is
wouldn't
medium.
wouldn't mind scale, or maybe I don't know if there's I don't know how much more protection studded leather would give me over my current leather, but yeah, but the encounter we had out there with that Hydra creature definitely is making me think a bit twice about keeping myself and my men safe out here.
We'll find something that fits you. Studded will be closer in weight class to what you've currently got on, so that's something. It'll protect you a little bit better. But if you're looking to get into heavier armor, you're going to want scale or chain. We do have all of it available. It's just fitting and adjusting, if you will.
Well, studded would definitely be a upgrade for daily use, and wouldn't mind some scale to practice in to build up my tolerance a bit, so that can eventually get a little bit better protection. Us tellers of tales and such are not don't spend as much time training in the arts of armaments as do some of our other colleagues here.
Sure. See me in the morning. We'll get you fitted.
Okay. No problem there. Thank you again, sir. And I turn toward our friendly captain. Evening to you there, Captain Hyroxia. Anything you need us to do for you, or uh, any assignments?
I need you to get some rest. We've had a very long day. And we can't afford to stay encamped all of tomorrow. So get some rest.
We definitely can do that. Would it be reasonable, Captain, me to ask Luther here, and I make sure to include Luther in this comment. See if we get slightly better armor for the other members of my squad while we're at it.
They'll need some more training, she says, before
Well,
they'll
I mean,
be able to use that.
Yeah, okay, because they have leather at the moment. I didn't know how much training they'll need for studded leather.
So their equipment improves with experience points in large-scale battles.
Oh,
So
okay.
they need to participate in a large-scale battle first, and then you can spend supply points to upgrade their stuff. Each soldier will need 1 supply point spent on them, and then so a total of 5 points, and then they'll upgrade to veteran status, and that comes with new gear, better stats. That's how that works. Okay.
Okay.
So when she
Good.
says they'll need a little bit more experience and training before they'll be able to use any better equipment, but I'm of course looking out for them as always.
Yes, you always do a great job of that, and looking out for us as well. It's always greatly appreciated.
Be careful with that
And
inquisitive nature of yours. I know, like the house cat, you seem to not be able to help it, but we have an old adage. You might have heard of it. I'm not going to repeat it. You can ask someone else. Be careful. You're very useful, and I'd rather you not wind up dead just because you wanted to take a look at something that was very dangerous. Albeit, I would like whatever intelligence you managed to gather from your little foray as soon as possible.
well, do you mind if I see about that rest you mentioned to me first?
Oh yes, that first. Tomorrow morning.
Well, I need to hunt down Luther tomorrow morning, and I will definitely come track you down shortly thereafter.
And she nods and says, "You're dismissed if you have nothing else."
So, let's see, where is our good friend Mordecai?
He's coming. Oh Lord, he's coming. He's right there where I pinged.
Okay, so as I'm walking
Mhm.
back, I'll cross paths with him, right?
Yep.
Mordecai's a popular person today.
Apparently.
I'm sorry, Eddie. Nobody
Oh,
wants
oh.
to play with you. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm ready to talk to him too.
I see.
Mordecai, a word if you don't mind?
Uh, of course. I'm gonna lead Prexy over kind of the middle where the light doesn't touch and
Okay.
speak in a hushed voice. Will this work?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of that encounter you've overheard, or how much of that encounter you observed, but I was hoping to get your thoughts and feelings and opinions about it. I know the captain wants a report of whatever intel we gathered bright and early in the morning. I figured best if we discuss the scenario and figure out what might be the best course of action.
I I I didn't hear uh half of the conversation because I could barely hear that woman. Um, However, I heard enough of Luther to make me suspicious of him. I'm going to talk to him momentarily, see if I can feel him out. I also have some requests of him, but after I do so, maybe we should plan a report in that case.
And, well, I don't quite think Luther is maybe the suspicious one here. Because from the discussion of things, from at least the lady's perspective, there is some sort of opponent that she was referring to that tends to get somewhat nervous about the situation, and when they get nervous, they tend to burn things more and destroy things more. Kind of makes me think that she might be referring to something that's causing this demon situation. And if that's their opposition, then I don't know if Luther is that suspect. Although being able to walk through the fabric of space like that's power that's unheard of. And you have to assume that if they're accosting each other like that Luther probably is on a similar playing field.
That's I I don't want to label him as a traitor, but I will feel a lot better once I've watched him for a time to make sure that he's not planning our downfall. I won't act, just watch.
I would be more of a mind to think that he is trying to prevent our downfall. From the sound of
Perhaps.
things, it smells like he's one of the good guys. At least that was my
He-
take on it. Now, there was one other concerning comment that she made. And since I'm not sure if you got the gist of it or not, but apparently there is maybe a sorcerer or something, thinking it's possibly our wizard friend that was being referred to. She mentioned something about someone that's kind of manipulating time and space, a sorcerer of some sort that's in there, at least in our vicinity, that's maybe accelerating the pace of things, accelerating the pace of time to what would I can only guess would not be a pleasant end.
Well, there's only one person I can think of to that end, and I'm gonna stare over at Connor for a moment.
That was my thought as well.
Not much that can be done of that for the time being.
Yeah, just something else to think about and something else to keep your mind on.
Agreed.
Yeah, you did notice that. I'm sure you noticed that she wandered off back into some other place where the living normally are not able to go.
Bedden told me as much, and that makes me even more wary of this. I can't believe I threatened her with a knife.
Yeah,
Mordecai just kind of puts his palm to his face and pulls downward a little bit. Like,
yeah. Somehow I don't think your knife would have made a dent.
not a significant one, at any rate.
Let's just be glad that we're still alive. I was concerned when she snapped her fingers for a moment that she was up to something, but nothing. I didn't notice anything happen. So
She
I
definitely
think we
did
want to do
something.
best. Ah,
She definitely did something, but don't concern yourself with that.
okay.
Just be wary if she does that again in our presence.
I will be careful about that. No, at least Luther's in decent spirits, so you might be able to get what you're interested in out of him. Captain did say we should probably all. It's been a long day. We've done a lot of fighting, etc. She wants us to move out at least sometime during the day tomorrow. So she did counsel getting some rest. So I will wait for your conversation with Luther, and we can do some planning, I assume, before we head off to get that assigned rest.
Mm-hmm.
We can, you know where we're camped at. Just drop by. Just drop by later and let me know. We can chat.
I will. Thank you, Prexy.
Thank you as well, Mordecai.
So, after that happens, I'm gonna wander back up to
I think Ed
our
wanted to talk to
friends,
you.
the captain. Say again?
I think Zed wanted to add Eddie.
Oh, right.
Ed, you might be muted.
Oh,
Yes, I was. I was talking and I was muted. Thank you for telling me.
You're welcome.
You just get a pat on the back from Edelweiss coming up behind you. It's just like, hey, buddy.
oh.
I'm sure that you already have had word from the others about what happened today. But I'm just going to say, you pull a knife on any elf, I will not hesitate to hurt you. Especially if they are not trying to hurt us. That I will not hesitate to put you in your place and smack that knife out of your hand next time. Because that was just foolish.
I've certainly found the error of my ways tonight, haven't I?
Yes.
I think you can probably tell that Mordecai seems like he might mean something else by that, but he's definitely acknowledging your words.
Elves are either here because they're already on our side, or because they're here to cause trouble. And I don't want to assume the worst of everyone out here, but I knew that she was dangerous the second I laid eyes on her. I don't even know how you had the ability to pull a knife out.
Let's call it hubris.
That's basically all I have to say. I'm going to talk to our new bard friend now.
And Mordecai nods and says, "Of course, enjoy your night, Ed." And I'll continue my stroll over here.
Okay. As you approach Luther and the captain, Luther turns to you and says, "You're a fucking idiot."
So I've heard.
I just wanted to make sure that you got it as brusquely and as clearly as possible. What can I do for you? I assume you're here for me.
I was hoping you might be able to help me. I'm sure you've seen my fighting style. It's a little bit
Stupid?
different.
Oh. Okay.
Different.
Different, sure. Yeah, alright. You looking for something fancy?
Potentially.
Okay.
Something that could make me do a bit more damage with each throw, potentially.
Yeah, the captain was just regaling me of how you guys got spanked by that big nasty Hydra, and you should probably upgrade your gear. Can't make you, so you gotta come to me and tell me what you want. I'm not a mind reader. So, what are you looking for?
Well, ideally, I'm looking for two things, potentially, if at all possible. One, something that could make it a bit more efficient to pull knives from my person for throwing.
Mhm.
And two, something that might enable me to do a bit more damage with each throw. Maybe some kind of enchantment along those lines.
Sure, yeah, I can do that. Easy.
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 All right. What do you have in mind?
Well, I can, basic honing and homing enchantment should do the trick for a little bit of more damage, a little bit more accuracy, and maybe when the knife hits something or stops going, returns to you. How about that? Does that sound good?
That's exactly what I'm thinking. That'd be perfect if you can actually put something like that together.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, it'll take me like a couple hours.
All right. Do you need anything from me for that?
No, we have supplies for it.
Fair enough.
It's not like I gotta
Yeah,
measure you.
I'm gonna nod and look at the ground for a moment. Where are you from, Luther?
Where am I from? My family was in Fourteenth.
Fourteenth. I see. What made you join the army?
Didn't really have a choice. Too talented.
one of those, I see. Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
Are you... Was this something you've always done?
Well, magic. Since I was
Yeah.
a child, yeah.
Did you study anywhere, or were you just... You born with a gift, and you learned it on your own?
Well, we're all born with the gift, Mordecai. Some of us better than others, but we're all born with it. But I did get an education, if that's what you're asking. I got 2 quality educations, actually. My first one, before I was old enough to go to the academy, I went to a school for accounting and scribing. Then I went to the academy. My parents were merchants.
You'd even say you're a bit of a nerd.
I don't know what that word means, but I'm sure you said that in a denigrating fashion, and you can go fuck yourself.
I appreciate it, Luther. I'll check back in with you in the morning for the enchantments.
Sure. And he kind of like waves you off. Make a dex saving throw real quick.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so as you go to walk by, you kind of like feel your feet kind of like twist up on you, and you fall flat in your face into the mud. And he says, "That should teach you for insulting me." And the captain goes, "Luther, don't hex my troopers. It's a pain in the ass. Can you? It's just a 1. He's fine. He'll learn it. He'll learn. Just don't worry about it, Captain." So yeah, you face plant and you get back up. And Crow's like, licks your face.
That's about what I was expecting. I'm gonna wander back over to my crew.
Hobbs like, "Thank the gods you've returned. I thought you might have had a heart attack. I hate being in charge, boss. If you die, I'm jumping right after whatever killed you so I can go too. I don't want to be in charge of these kids."
I mean, if that's the case, Hob, it's not like you had that much time left. How old are you again?
You shut up. Okay. Anybody else want to have any conversations at the moment?
Ben's going to go talk to Luther, but if Eddie and Praxia want to talk first, that's cool.
I actually haven't planned anything yet. So
Okay.
you can go do that.
We will come back to you.
I also have some stuff after Ben has his minute.
Sure.
Quartermaster.
Yep.
As I need some gear.
Oh yeah, you guys got spanked.
Yeah. Well, Ben will sort of like look at the captain and sort of just like wince and say, "All right, I have an idea.
Okay.
Captain, do you want to have plausible deniability?"
Oh boy, I can't wait to hear what this is, she says.
Now it has maybe become apparent that I have certain abilities.
Uh-huh, she says.
And those abilities may resemble the abilities of a certain noble family.
They're going to be so interested in when they find you eventually.
Now, I'm counting on the fact that they probably won't find me for a while because there's a war on, and we're in the middle of nowhere.
True.
I've seen one of them before. They came to our town. They were carrying this staff carved with a crest. It could do a lot of stuff with my abilities.
I see where you're going with this. You would like a bootleg Farloden staff.
Precisely.
He looks at the captain. The captain looks at him. Well, that would be highly illegal, wouldn't it? She shrugs and says, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. But I'm sure it would piss them off. And he says, yeah, it sounds like it would. We're gonna pretend this conversation didn't happen. Just, come see me about gear in the morning.
Of course. Thank you for understanding.
He nods.
And then we'll head back to his squad.
Okay.
All right. Well, with that,
Let's see if Eddie
Mordecai.
has thought of what they want to say yet.
Oh, good point.
Eddie, have you thought of what you want to say yet?
Basically all I'm saying to Praxia. I don't know how to say it. Praxia. Okay. I didn't get a chance to talk to you before everything went hectic. We had to go fight that scary lizard. But it's nice to have another lady in our ranks.
Well, that's a good thing, I guess. I mean, I'm just glad to not be trying to find the rest of the troops anymore. What rest of troops that there are?
Well, I meant commander.
Yeah, it's just so Praxia's entire squad, except for Charlie, who's this guy right here, all women.
Yes.
So you said that right in front of 4 other women. They're all kind of just looking at you like, this bitch.
I know.
And
I can't tell that from the icon. So.
I know.
I'm kind of standing here
Basically,
very
it's just
awkwardly going like, oh, how do I reply to this?
it's.
I
It's nice
introduce
that you and your team are here.
I introduced my fellow sergeant here to the folks in case they haven't met yet.
Okay. They all kind of nod and then dismiss Edelweiss
Because I
because
insulted them because I'm stupid.
partially because of that, but also because like associating with the sergeants outside of their own sergeant is not something that they do.
I'm sure she didn't mean any offense by that.
Esme just kind of shrugs.
Yeah, so now hopefully that will save you from that sort of faux pas in the future.
Perhaps, but I was wondering, are you interested in playing music often? I know
Interested
you're a
what?
bard, but it's like playing music off this for the camp. I'm just curious.
Yeah, don't mind. I quite enjoy it. From what I hear, and people are resting, it definitely tends to help them feel better and help them rest a little more easily and things of that sort. So
Keep the spirits up and such.
yeah, given these times and these surroundings, kind of wave my hand around the to the swamp around us. You need whatever you can get.
That is true.
Now
you
that
can kind of
ability of
see that
yours back
Edelweiss
there,
is also kind of nervous. I'm sorry.
that ability of yours back there in the swamp, ability to quadruple yourself in size, that's could be quite a useful ability. I'm sure you're pretty proud of that.
It's something I can tap into on occasion. It's not the easiest, and I don't have the best skill over it yet.
Keep practicing. I'm sure you'll eventually keep practicing and keep gaining that ability. I'm sure you'll eventually become the stuff of legends. Bards of the future will be telling tales about you.
Me,
Unfortunately,
more like the others here.
Unfortunately, I think we find ourselves in one of those in the type of story here that bards tend to end up writing tales about later on. Normally, those aren't the kind of stories you want to find yourself in, because typically all the people in those stories end up dead.
Not like I haven't almost several times throughout my life already. This might be the big one for me, but it's just another day.
Well, let's just hope that death doesn't come knocking on our door anytime soon. Even though, gods know we're kind of stuck between a hammer and an anvil here.
Well, at least if you keep close to me, you should have less issues with acid gloves from giant lizards.
Yes, are flowers that explode into poison.
Wait, is that what happened? I thought it was an acid glove. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, somebody else got acid globbed. We, me and Connor got knocked out because we did a horrible job making the appropriate save, trying to avoid the flowers that had puffed into noxious gas.
Okay.
So the Hydra essentially used chemical warfare, and our gas masks failed.
You can get actual gas masks from Luther.
They actually exist in this world, okay?
Yeah, they have a Magitech rebreather that kind of works.
Yeah, I could see the wisdom in that. I think that is indeed a wise idea. And I did make sure and ask Luther for some slightly better armor, because I hear with practice you can improve your tolerance for such things. Hopefully that'll also help me become a little bit more difficult to hit with such things.
Yes. I was actually unsure of whether I should take this chest I picked up to the ship. I should take it to the other commanders and see what they think.
I was planning on coming and hunting for you, but anyway. Do you still happen to have the papers and stuff that y'all gathered from the swamp?
I think Ben is the one who has the papers, but I carried the heavy treasure chest.
The
Okay.
Which is
papers and the
kinds of
rod.
things. Yes.
Okay, so then I'll have to hunt down Ben in a little bit then. Okay. Well, then I will go hunt down. I will go look for Ben and see if I can make heads or tails out of anything that's on those scrolls and papers and such. After all, it kind of is my area of expertise, I guess.
Yes, that sounds like a good idea. I'm going to sit over here with this thing because it's pretty heavy.
It's probably a good idea. So where is our good friend Ben at the moment?
All the way over here with my squad.
With his squad.
So I wander across camp and I inquire if I could take a gander at the papers and stuff that y'all liberated from the swamp and see if I can't somehow make some sense out of them or things of that sort, figure out exactly what they are and if they're of any value to us or etc. And
Yeah, certainly. Let's head over this way. My mom always taught me when you're looking at magic stuff, make sure that nobody else is around, so that if it explodes, you don't kill them.
so you think it's magic stuff?
Well, nobody makes an ornate iron rod or metal rod that has no gems or jewels in it for, well, ornamentation, really.
Now, will we have enough light over here, though? I guess would be the concern.
Then we'll snap his fingers, and a bioluminescent seed pod will bloom and start glowing.
Okay. How much light does that give you?
It is just one of the bioluminescent pods I picked up from the first session, so it's
Oh,
not
okay.
specific, but I'd say like maybe equivalent to a torch.
Yeah, that works. It looks like
Well,
it's taking effect somehow. All right, cool.
I clicked the torch button on my token.
Oh, good. I turned on your lamp.
Yeah. Oh, I also have a lamp, but this way's fun.
Yeah, that way's fun. Okay.
Well, since you mentioned the staff first, I guess we could start with it.
Certainly.
So I take a look at it and try to see is there anything that stands out about it.
Okay. So what spell do you have? The identify spell?
Let me see what I got. I do not have an identify, no.
Okay. So this is a long silvery rod, finely crafted. The head of the weapon seems to be an orb shaped over a purple stone. And there is an etching in High Kruic that reads, "I shall shield you from harm."
Oh, I can read that.
Okay. So well, maybe this is a rod of like shielding or something. I'm not sure.
Artificers really ain't the most creative with namings.
Yeah. So from looking at it, does it remind me of anything that I might have read about or seen before?
You can make a history check if you'd like.
I will provide guidance to you as we are working on it together. So add a d4.
Okay, situational opponents, e.g., D4, yes, exactly, and D4.
16. It doesn't ring any bells, but based on the script and the make, it is probably newish, and by that I mean it's probably like less than 500 years old.
Sorry, to clarify, you said High Kruic, not Arcane Kruic.
Right, yeah, it's in High Kruic.
Oh, yeah. Huh. I mean, we could take it to Luther.
Yeah, that might be the best bet. Either that or ask our wizard. He might have some way to identify objects. He might have some better way to identify objects.
I'm curious, though, before we head over there. What precisely did you hear that lady say while I was talking with Luther?
Well, before we head over there, let's take a look at the other stuff you have here and figure out what
Fair
it
enough.
is, and then we can deal with that. Because I know I need to have a chat with Mordecai before we head off to rest, because the captain wants a report first thing in the morning, and
Of course.
I want to make sure neither of us make the other look stupid.
Ben pulls out the scrolls.
Okay, so I take a look at them. If I have Kruik and high common Kruik and high Kruik, and if I need something more than that, I do have comprehend languages available.
Okay. You will have to cast comprehend languages.
Before you do, Ben does also read Arcane Gruic.
The scrolls are in Arcane Kruik, which is standard for spell scrolls. So one is a 3rd level spell called Sword Rain. And
Sword Rain.
Sword Rain.
Sounds impressive.
Yes. It basically, upon casting this spell, a 20-foot radius sphere is bombarded by swords raining from the sky. Creatures within the affected area must make a dexterity saving throw versus the spell save DC. Upon failure, they suffer 6d8 slashing damage. Upon success, they suffer half as much damage. The swords disappearing after striking an object or the ground and fall from the sky again for the duration of the spell. At higher levels, you increase the damage by 1d8 for each spell level. If you have the Channeler feature, when you cast the spell again on your subsequent turn, the area of effect shifts to a new location of your choosing. Everything within the affected area during the shift and the new area suffers the conditions of the spell. This shift must be in a straight line and within the casting range of the spell.
Ben will read it aloud. Well, damn. That's, I think the wizard could probably have this one.
Probably. Now, is this a spell that I could conceivably learn, or this is one somebody would have to learn and teach to me?
Someone would have to learn it and teach it to you.
Okay.
Because you're not educated in the way that the spell is prepared on the scroll. Yep. You can't make heads or tails of, like, the arcane mathematics that are going on here.
Okay.
If someone could walk you through it from, like, feelings and energy and sort of that sort of discussion, you could learn it that way. But just from, like, looking at the instruction book right here, this is fucking confusing. And, you're, looking at a trade manual and you've got a 4th grade education, right? That's the metaphor I'm going for here.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. Given that, probably the wizard is probably probably Connor is probably most equipped to handle that.
All right. Now let's read the next one. I'll read it out.
The next one is a spell called Fangs. It is a 1st level necromancy spell. From your hands, a torrent of fangs shoot forth from your outstretched palms. Each creature within a 15-foot cone must make a dexterity saving throw. A creature takes 3d6 magical piercing damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. At higher levels, when you cast this spell using a spell slot of 2nd level or higher, the damage increases by 1d6 for each spell slot level above 1st.
Huh.
So this is another one to give to Connor, I'm assuming?
I'm curious. As this, just the toothy elements, is this something that Ben could interpret?
Yeah, you could learn this as well.
Okay.
The components necessary for this is the fang of a bear, wolf, and a Corinthian salamander. The components necessary for Sword Rain is a longsword, a vial of rainwater, and iron powder.
Now, what if I didn't have the fang of any of those things, but I did have the fang of a hydra?
You might get a different weird effect. You don't know. Because you're not, again, educated in that same fashion that would give you sort of an insight into the magical physics of what's happening with these. But you could learn it from someone who understands the spell and has learned the spell. And if you have alternate components, you might be able to produce a different kind of effect.
All right. Let's drop these off by our wizard, and
for that, I'm gonna put them in a pile for you, so you can actually have the physical scrolls.
Now is there only two?
It's just those two.
Okay, no, I thought we found some like books and such
Yeah,
too, or not?
you did find some books. Those books seem to be destroyed. Weather and the environment took them. Um, Vaguely, they were codexes of some kind, so they were just like your normal bound book that we're familiar with, and small in size. They might have been novels, or they might have been like trade manuals or something like that, but they've been destroyed.
Okay.
Is the paper still intact?
If you open up one of them, some of the paper just slides straight out and hits the ground in wet pulp.
Darn.
Well, they don't seem to radiate any type of magic or anything.
No.
Okay. I guess those are lost cause then.
Well, all right.
Yep.
Then
So I
we'll
think, yeah, might as well drop those off with Connor, and might get him to take a look at that rod, or get Luther to take a look at it. I think that's about the most we can come up with.
I don't know if you were going to follow Ben while he goes over and does that.
Yep. Thank
alas,
you for that.
do not have permission to send it to Connor, but
Can you do request trade at the bottom left?
indeed, though it seems the only options are people who are presently present.
That makes sense. You'll have to do it at another session.
Fair. I will just remember that I have done that.
Your wizard is in another session. Okay. Anything else for this evening camp scene?
Just bringing the rod to Luther and saying, apologies, one more thing. I just remember we found this in that shipwreck, and presents the rod. I mean, it's written in Hackrook, so it seems pretty simple what it does, but do you know how this works? How to use it?
He takes a once over on it and kind of like spins it in his hand. He says, yeah, this is a rod of shielding. They're kind of fairly standard construction. Expensive, though. The thing of it is you have to attune to it. So you have to spend some time kind of getting your energy to sync with it, giving it your wellspring energy that should charge it. Once it's charged fully, you'll be able to use it to protect yourself from violence and stuff. It's pretty much what it says on the tin.
Right.
Yeah. Could be good for really any squishy spellcaster, or someone who just really wants to, be extra beefy, There's no restriction, like...
I presume you got to be holding it to use it properly?
Yeah, you do have to be holding it, so it's got to be in one hand, you got to wave it around.
Right.
Kind of generally gesture it in the direction of the harm.
Alright, then we'll hand it to Praxia. I think you or the wizard could use it well. You can decide.
Also, you can use it to beat the life out of somebody. It's a heavy stick.
Is it pretty... Is that gem sturdy enough? It won't chip?
Who fucking knows, but,
Fair enough, dual usage. Alright.
In a pinch,
Okay, I'll take it for now, and then I can have a future session I can discuss with Connor about it.
Sure. You should be able to trade with Praxia.
I do not have I just have unidentified rod in my inventory.
I will switch that out.
Word.
Goodbye, unidentified rod, and I will just give the identified version of the rod straight to Praxia.
Word.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
So that should be in your inventory now. It is a rod of shielding.
Now, does it have a certain number of charges, or
Yep,
does it?
You'll see. It
Okay.
It has 5 charges, and I believe it charges at dawn.
Okay, so you use it like 5 times a day, and then you can you can recharge it with your own energy. Okay.
It recharges at the rate of 1 charge a day. So you can use 5 charges, no problem. It also works on a reaction. It's not an action, it's a reaction. So basically, you see somebody within 60 feet of you taking damage, or you yourself takes damage, you can use the rod as a reaction to halve that damage. If the damage is already halved, it drops that damage to 0.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. Requires attunement and can be life saving. So if you've got other stuff you'd rather use your reaction for, give it to somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I have anything else that is a reaction that I have or not.
If you've got counterspell, for example.
Which I don't have.
Nope. You do have silvery barbs.
Yeah, that does make a good reaction. Yes.
Yeah. So make considerations, think about it, talk it over with Connor, because both of you can use it very well. It's going to be less useful for the others.
Yeah, and I think Connor
Yes.
has counterspell, right?
Well, none of us have counterspell because we can't do 3rd-level spells yet.
Nope. But
Oh, okay.
Connor does have silvery barbs and featherfall and shield. So he's got 3 reaction spells.
Oh, yeah, he already has a shield spell. Okay. So since I don't have a shield spell, then that may be a good rationale for.
Yeah, just talk it over.
Yep.
Because if you give him the scrolls, he's gonna copy those spells too. So, just you guys can figure it out later. You can even figure it out offline as well. You can use our group chat for that.
Yep. And assumedly, once he transcribes the spells, then he could teach us the spells too if he felt so inclined.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's time to head to bed then.
Okay.
I had one last thing, and then I think we were gonna talk to Praxi.
Okay.
So I'm gonna, when I get to camp, I'm gonna say, Kella, Jeffa, I need you over here. Hob, make sure those two don't get into any problems.
What are we gonna do? Garrett says. Yeah, we can't leave camp. It's not like there's a bar around here.
Well, you certainly can't do anything if Hob is watching you, right, Hob?
What? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Exactly. This is perfect. All right. You two follow me.
Crow follows you, of course.
Oh, of course. All right.
While this is going on, just one moment.
Okay.
While this is going on and I'm relaxing and etc., I will happily probably not sit at my group so where I can be more audible and make use of Song of Rest.
Sure.
So I will probably come over here more toward the center of camp and try to help improve people's life a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll a d6. And everybody can. I mean, we're gonna get to a long rest, but yeah, you play a song. It's very healing. You want to make a performance check too?
Yeah, I can do that.
And while you're doing that, we're gonna cut back to Mordecai and his team.
Yep.
What is
that
it?
was kind of what I thought. I just figured that was happening in the background, so we'd get it out there.
Okay. Mordecai.
Yes. I have an assignment for you two. We're not going to have as much sleep as we all might like tonight, but that's why I chose the 3 of us instead of just myself. We're going to do a bit of surveillance on our friend the quartermaster.
What? I mean, he's weird, Kella says.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if we catch him doing anything weird,
So is
then we'll
Jaffa.
make note of
Jaffa's
it.
weird. I resent that. You resemble that.
We're all weird in this squad.
But yeah, we all joined the
Wow.
army. It's not like we're not weird.
It's it is definitely a
Y'all
choice.
joined?
Can't say it was good or bad, but it was a choice. We're going to take shifts. I can't overstate this. Don't let him know you're watching him.
Okay.
If he catches you, you're just doing your rounds. You'll walk off. But if he catches you, it won't be good. Just don't let him. And we'll like I said, we're going in shifts. Jaffa, you're up first. I'll take the
Damn
middle,
it.
and Kella, you get the early morning shift.
Rolls her
We'll
eyes.
we'll wait in camp when we're not on shift. But if anything happens, if anything goes wrong, don't hesitate to rouse the camp.
Alright, alright.
And with that done, go ahead and get to it, Jaffa. I'll be along shortly, and I'll go find Praxi.
Okay.
I think Ben will just listen, as he's spoken with both of them about this now.
Mhm.
Not to be that person,
Hmm?
but it's Praxia.
Oh, I'm sorry, Praxie. Gotcha.
I'm not a body of water.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Edelweiss is 12.72 feet away.
I think actually Ben will wave her over.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like, did you guys want me to join?
They're talking about
Yeah.
something clandestine.
You want Connor to be part of this
Clandestine?
conversation too?
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
Yep.
The sergeant's meeting.
Yeah, and
Even though he
let's
has-
actually take this meeting to somewhere that isn't likely in earshot of
The truth log?
Carboxia and,
The log of secrets.
The
Yeah.
log of secrets.
yeah. Let's just let's take this somewhere because otherwise,
Sorry, I
Luther or
just yoinked
Carboxia is gonna
everybody
be
by
the first.
accident.
Whoa.
Connor's over here.
Yeah, I got him.
Yeah.
That was my bad.
I like the new thing.
It
That's
depends
right,
on
Connor.
like,
I see you in Twitch. You're included.
depends on who about who's doing the pinging. Okay, so you guys are having your clandestine sergeant's meeting.
Mhm.
So I figure I know why you're over here. Figure it's chat about what was going on, what we overheard. I'm sure we might as well fill these folks in, and for Mordecai's sake and everyone, the other folks here's sake, recount the conversation, both sides of the conversation. I don't include the conversation that I had, or at least not yet, the conversation that I had with the lady after she was leaving.
Okay.
But I share the rest of the information that we discussed, or that was discussed.
Mhm.
So I'm not
Ben-
sure exactly what we should report about this to Carvoxia, what we shouldn't. I know we'll have to report something because we couldn't have just completely missed. We couldn't have completely not seen or heard anything. After all, the magic use there at the end by Luther was pretty darn obvious.
Well, you could actually say you didn't see her or anything. They use magic to make them unseen and unheard. But that would be lying to the captain.
Well, that would be also raising a lot of suspicion about Luther and maybe tipping him off.
I'm
think
already
he's capable of such things.
Mordecai, you were going to say something?
I'm already suspicious of Luther, but truthfully, I think that we should tell the captain exactly what we heard and saw. The captain has a good head on her shoulders. If we can give her the information she needs, I think she'll make the right decision.
Ben will look at Mordecai significantly. I think that's a good idea.
But clearly not when Luther is around. One of us should keep watch while we're having this talk to make sure that he doesn't happen to wander by.
They are together a lot.
Hmm.
I suppose like I could be the one on watch.
Out of character.
I
Sorry.
mentioned to Mordecai, it's like, can't your friend there keep an eye out?
Crow?
Yep.
I suppose Crow could do it. That'd be no problem. I'll...
That way we don't have to sacrifice anyone's attention to what we're discussing.
Out of character, Ben does have specific questions for Connor, but those will have to be resolved another time.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk to Connor about his manipulating stuff.
You said the lady said that someone's mad when he does it?
No, if someone's getting mad, someone's getting nervous because
Right.
things are happening at a more accelerated rate.
And when they get nervous, they want to burn everything down?
They want to burn everything. They want to burn everything more and cause more death and destruction. My assumption is she's talking about whatever's behind this demon invasion. Now, from what it sounded like whatever Connor may be doing to time and chance and probability and such is aiding in the acceleration.
I see.
So, yeah, and it sounded like if the person does enough burning things down, that causes a very unhappy ending to a lot of this part of the world.
Well, I'll share what I know. Given the magic that she used, especially when she stood up after being killed by Luther, she's more powerful than anybody I've ever seen. So,
she's more powerful than any being that's on record in history. From the sound of that, from what she did, she's more powerful than any of the 9 gods I can think of.
She might not be more powerful than power.
Well, from what I know of them, they can't just randomly open a gap in reality and step through it.
Well, they've certainly never done so, but yeah.
That, plus then also this talk about time being somehow different. It almost sounded like, and out of character question here, would I be safe in Proxia's reasoning to think that they were possibly talking about something that either they had foreseen or that had happened in the past and was repeating itself?
Yeah. That's logical.
So I'm not sure whether they had foreseen the future and this is happening, or if this is something that happened before, because they did mention this time these things had happened like 7 years. This time it was happened. Things were different. That my fiance arriving had happened like 7 years later than it did. Or something. It sounds very much like we're the world's maybe like in a loop or something.
Real quick,
Maybe that's it before.
a pause. The thing that might be more striking to Praxia personally is that the woman said that you were as you are, talking, sentient, not a slavering beast. On a more personal angle.
Oh, you mean that she kind of she treated me more like a person.
Right. She indicated that you were more of a person than you should be right now.
Implying that in whatever version of events she knows, the Ith were never freed from the demon's control.
Correct.
Someone else played this role in the past. This is the remake. In the original, some other race played this role.
Or no one played the role, or the events haven't happened yet and they're seeing the future, or it's,
Yep.
I don't know, any number of things.
Something along those lines. But it sounded like the feeling I got, and I could be completely wrong here, but the feeling I got is that this lady and Luther, well, clearly they know each other, and there's somebody that she was asking him that had Luther talked to recently. So clearly there's someone higher than them, I guess, but it seemed like if their adversary was supposedly bent on destroying everything, that my guess is that Luther and this, or Morris, whatever as she called him, are among the good guys, which would hopefully bode well for us. Maybe I'm just being optimistic here, but if the opposition is bent on destroying everything in sight and burning everything up in sight, then I would typically say that they were the side we wouldn't want to be on.
I'll be honest, Praxia. I've seen some crazy magic today, but I don't think it matters all that much. We still have to get to Helcorth, and before that we still have to get to Corvaxia. We're
Our
not
mission
really,
hasn't changed.
yeah, we're not really on the level of these folks. We got
True.
squads to look after, shit to do.
Well, then she did say we should be able to get to. She did comment when we were all still there that we should be able to make it to the duchy, and however, when we get to the duchy, we're likely to find the road, the typical road you would take somewhat blocked. So, if anyone has any knowledge of the geography around there, our specifics, she did say we would probably end up having to take the road less traveled, whatever that road is.
Perhaps Captain Corvaxia would know the geography around the Duchy of Corvaxia.
That was indeed my thought, yes. But I'm not sure if she overheard that when we were all there or not. But we should definitely include that in our report.
All right, we gotta sleep.
Now, did I
gotta move
notice
tomorrow.
that out of character? Did I notice that she looked right directly over at us? Did I notice that she noticed us?
Talking about when you were spying on the conversation?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I make sure to mention that as well. It's like, well, I think from what I could gather, she was able to notice that we were there. I don't think Luther knew that we were there, but she definitely knew that we were there. Could tell that we were there, and the fact that we're still alive to tell the tale, and we were still alive to overhear what was being said, means either she wanted us to, or didn't mind if we did. I mean, she did say, as everybody was walking off, asked Luther what it is that what it was that he was trying to hide from all of us.
Probably his identity, probably his connection to her, any number of things. But she said precisely as much when she was ripping a hole
Yep.
in reality. I told you. Did you really think you could sneak good enough to hide from her?
Well, I mean, had we not, then we wouldn't know what we know. We wouldn't know to keep an eye on our friendly quartermaster, now would we? And we also wouldn't know to discuss with Connor about his manipulating reality.
And if we're not trusting this lady just yet, what do you think if she knew that we were going to learn all that by sneaking around? Should we just trust that this information, this line of investigation, is the right one to go down? That this is not part of her plan, distracting us from our mission? You see those kids over there? And he'll point towards Sifashai and the Shogun. That's our mission. Getting them to Hellcorth safely. Everything else is a distraction right now, including this.
Exactly, that's our mission. But it's our duty to pass this information along to the captain, and it's above our pay grade to figure out what to do about it. That's more something for her to worry about and take care of.
As long as you remember that. Yeah, Eddie?
I did have one last distraction. There was this the treasure that we recovered from earlier. I'm not sure if we should mess with it, or if we should just take it straight to Luther.
Seems like a quartermaster problem.
Well, I mean, we should at least see what it is. Do we at least know what it is?
It's supposedly treasure. It just looks like shinies. I guess I put it down and open it up for people to see.
It is cash money.
Just cash monies.
Yep, it's just straight up coin. It's a lot of coin. I've converted this coin into supply points for you guys already.
Yay!
Okay.
Let me see.
That way we don't have to worry about it.
How much did I convert it to? It was quite a bit. Well, you guys have in supply points. In our rage utility, Bane Knights. You guys have a group token under your utility folder.
Not presently visible to us, actually.
No, because I have to update it. But you have one.
Perfect.
You have fucking hell. 20 total supply points.
One other thing, since we found all this nice stuff, and I know our good quartermaster is quite adept at enhancing things, and I think at least all of us here should at least think about getting some enhancement done to our gear, possibly. Looks over at Connor. You might get a little bit heavier armor, practice running it around, might work on some ability to improve your defenses a bit. I was going to suggest the same thing to Connor when next I see him. I plan on getting some ask Luther about some scale mail myself, so that way I can practice, get some practice wearing it around camp, see if I can up my tolerance so I be a little bit more protected. But we might consider indulging ourselves of his ability to enhance things to kind of say improve our survivability. And since we're all in this together, figured it would only be smart to raise this question as a group.
I don't mean to be that person, but my ears missed the question.
Just talking about enchanting your gear.
I already
Okay.
spoke to Luther about mine. We'll see if it happens.
Well, at least bringing this over would at least butter it up a little bit. Perhaps. I'm not sure if I'll just look at it as more weight to carry, because this is fucking heavy.
Well, then that's why we have the limited amount of supply train we have, I guess.
Indeed.
Okay, well, fellas, lady, man, we probably should look into getting some rest. I assume Mordecai, you and I have an appointment bright and early with the captain tomorrow to fill her in on this stuff.
That's right. We'll see you in the morning, and we'll fill her in.
Any last remarks before we close this scene?
Now, are any of us busy keeping any of our squads on tap for keeping watch over the night? I'm assuming the captain's got that arranged, and who needs to keep watch when, but...
Yeah, that's arranged.
Yeah, just making sure if I need to tell my squad anything about how y'all are on watch at such and such time or anything like that.
We can hand wave that.
Okay.
Final thing will be Ben will hold Mordecai's arm as the rest leave and just say very quietly, the longer you wait to tell her, the worse it's going to be. I understand wanting to prove yourself as invaluable so she doesn't just summarily execute you, but you gotta tell her
Not sure
soon.
it needs to be told.
It has a hold over your soul.
That's my soul, no one else's. So if...
Apparently not anymore.
Well, you have a point, but it doesn't affect the mission.
I haven't said anything so far, and I won't until I think it's going to put someone else in danger. Someone else includes you.
If it
Have a
puts
good night.
someone besides me in danger, I'll say something.
I'm a medic. You don't get to escape from being my patient.
Night, Doc.
I might say something to Ben before bed. Yes, I was gonna meet you over here at your camp. Sorry.
Yep.
I had a little time to think about what you said to me last about how it's your job to be the healer and everything. I really fucked up out there tonight, and you saw and had to deal with Praxia and Connor getting so badly hurt. It's my thought that it's my job to be the fighter. I have to be the dumbass who runs out and does the dangerous things so the others don't get hurt. So as much care as you have for me getting little scrapes like from the plants, I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but I admire your care, but no, it's kind of my job to get hurt for you guys, and I don't mean to inconvenience you with that.
There are miles to walk between leading from the front and being reckless. But I understand. I'll trust your judgment more. I won't stop yelling at you, but I'll trust your judgment more.
Well, if you're going to be the mom of the group, I guess I just have to be the dumbass dad who does the dumb things. And you just have to make sure I don't die, I guess.
That is my job.
Have a good night.
You too.
You all may roll a long rest.
It will take me a minute to learn how to do that. Because I think my sheet broke.
On your sheet, it's a little tent icon.
No, I mean my sheet broke. I have to refresh the thing.
Assumingly, we say it's a new day, right?
Yes, I'm just moving time forward, but yes, you do say it's a new day.
Do me or my squad catch anything in our mission over the night?
Yeah, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Not the greatest.
Okay. So no, when they do report to you in what about his whereabouts, he kind of went to bed not too long after you all kind of broke away from him and stopped visited the captain. Maybe like 20 minutes, and he went to bed. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay.
I will long rest. Connor? Okay. And... Okay. So the following morning, Praxia, Luther wakes you up and says, "All right, come on, time for your fitting."
Okay, I go with him, kind of groggily get up and follow.
Okay. He takes you over to where he normally operates, which is these crates over here. He's like, "All right, you know the drill. Strip." And he takes out a tape measure.
Oh, okay.
See, Army, you don't get privacy. As he does that, the morning continues on, and the captain.
Yeah, I was gonna do like you get it.
You're gonna talk to your troopers.
No, I'm actually making sure she gets at least a little bit of privacy.
Okay. The captain goes and talks to their charges. So, we have about 10 minutes left. Any last minute things before the next day?
Does Ben get a chance to speak with Luther about that request? He said to come find him in the morning.
Yeah, so after he's done fitting Praxia, he will come straight to you and he'll say, "It'll take me a couple of days. I gotta pull something from a specific kind of tree. I don't have it.
Perfectly reasonable.
But it'll take a couple days."
Thank you. I can do a lot with this.
And I assume he found the kind of whatever hand or light crossbow I'd be proficient with.
Yeah,
but,
which do you prefer? Since you're proficient in the hand crossbow, do you want a hand crossbow?
Yeah, because I mean, there's not a whole lot. I'm trying to think what's the difference between the two. They're very similar, right?
Yeah.
Hand crossbow, if you have the crossbow expert feat, will give you access to that additional attack, and also, but it does slightly less damage.
I'll take the hand crossbow if he's got it.
Okay, yeah, he's got one. He gives you one. He also gives you a set of studded leather.
Okay.
You can turn in your regular leather armor if you'd like.
Yep. But I don't need to carry it around if I'm as proficient in studded leather as I am with regular leather.
Okay. So that will bring your armor class up to 14. The supply point cost of these two items are half because they are normal items. So I will go ahead and deduct that from your group inventory.
Yep.
So that's
and as we mentioned,
down
and
to
as we mentioned,
19.
Go ahead. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
That brings supply points down to 19. Your dagger will be available to you next session, Mordecai. That will cost 2 supply points as well, so that takes it down to 17. And your staff will cost 4 supply points. So
Out of character, I just want to clear it. Just to like, I can have a out of character not take it if you guys think it's too many supply points. But I also, it's a staff of the woodlands. It really would help me with a lot of the utility stuff.
You might as well grab it. I mean, I'm hoping to. What I was trying to avoid interrupting about there was going to consider like we discussed the night before, seeing about getting at least something slightly enhanced while Luther is at least in good spirits. Now, whether it's better rapier or armor or which one, I mean, ask Luther what his recommendation is, but I was going to probably end up spending another supply point or 2 as well, so I don't begrudge you your staff at all.
If y'all wanted to get if those of you who haven't already gotten a +1 to an item, those would each be a supply point. So Ed could get a +1 on the halberd. Praxia, you could get a +1 on your hand crossbow or your rapier. As far as armor enchantments, those are a little bit more expensive, but they're doable.
Well, if it's easy, if weapon is easier, then I could probably get the. If I get a +1 on the crossbow, it still apply. Does it apply to both 2 hit and damage or not?
Yes.
Because I wasn't sure whether you had to, if it only applied to damage if you had magical weapons.
No, it does also apply to the hit roll.
Okay.
We can deal with
Which one
the accounting of that.
Yep.
In the off session.
Yep. That's fine. Yeah, I was about to say I can let you know.
Yeah. We'll deal with like what enchantments you guys want for next session, between now and next session. We'll just do that in the chat. The last narrative note is after he comes by and delivers your dagger, Mordecai, he goes back to the tent area where the captain is. And I think with only 5 minutes left, unless there's something pressing, we will...
While he was passing out stuff, did we make a report to the captain, or are we saving that till next session?
If you would like to just make a report, that's what you can do. If you guys want to role play it out, we will have to wait till next session.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Then we will wait for that for next session. Just for your awareness, you guys are here, and the Blade of Endless Suffering is moving to catch up with you guys.
Oh no. I don't like
We'll make the
that.
report on the road.
And it's about 105 miles to Gravaxia from here. So you will
About how fast do we move through swamp?
you
We're on
guys-
the road.
Yeah, you guys are on the road, so it's not it does you're not really restricted by the swamp. You guys will be able to do about 30 miles a day. So it is about 4 days out.
About 4 days.
So what that will get you is that will get you 4 days of downtime between here and Corvaxia. So just for order of events for next session, we will have our roleplay scene for the rest of the camp morning. And then you will have 4 days of downtime to spend on this country map. So that means you'll be able to use your various downtime activities. You'll be able to have conversations on the road and that sort of thing. And then you will arrive in Corvaxia. And that will be the last thing that we have pre-planned. Now, of course, that stuff can all be derailed by you guys and what you do. That's just the intent that the captain is giving you this morning. She intends to march you guys over the next 4 days straight to Corvaxia, and arrive there and resupply, and hopefully, get out before the blade catches up to you.
Sounds great.
So
That sounds like a plan, and maybe, hopefully, we'll gather some more members of the, what are we, the 14th, I think it is, along the way. Maybe if there's any more survivors that wandered out into the mire, hopefully they'll make their way to us and improve our ranks a little bit. But
all right. Well, with that said, I hope everybody had a good session.
Indeed. It was great.
Yeah, this was great. Very, very roleplay.
Okay.
So we're not doing downtime today.
No, we will do downtime next session, because you
Okay.
guys will have several days of downtime to work through. Just so you
Yes.
know, and we'll do the scene in the morning, and anything that comes after that is what comes after that, right?
now, of course, the pressing question is, do we get any situational XP from handling that situation and surviving and arriving at camp or anything like that? Or do we?
Of course you do. Okay, so 100 points for each of you for your session, and then good 200 extra points for you guys for your roleplay.
Huh.
Did that work? No,
Yeah.
Each.
So that
I
doesn't
didn't
quite
see
get us there. It almost does.
So close. So
Very
I
close.
didn't see it.
How close are you guys?
We're at
200.
I did see that.
200 away, yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good.
You're not in a generous enough mood that you just want to give it to us, do you?
Well,
Oh
no, not at all.
no!
We did completely explore
It is
that
nice
map.
seeing it just so close, though.
You're
A 25 in persuasion.
no, it doesn't work that way. You can't persuasion check the DM. You did, but you did fully explore that map, so you do get your map exploration experience. That's another 100 points.
So close.
And we've thoroughly explored the camping map too by now.
No, you've already gotten those points.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Wait, guys,
Well,
find
how
100 more.
Please,
Yeah, try to
sir.
figure out how to get
No.
Please, sir. 100 more points.
Yes, exactly.
Mordecai, does Crow have a upgrade schema that comes with your class, or did I recall
I
that?
think he does. It's
Okay.
it's nothing crazy. It's similar to how other ranger pets work.
Okay.
So like, yeah.
Seventh level he gets upgraded if I recall, and then at 15th level he gets, or 7th level he gets upgraded, 11th level he gets a breath weapon, and 15th level I think he gets upgraded again.
Okay.
Something like that. Does he follow my proficiency bonus as well, or am I just
Usually
making
that's
that
the
up?
case.
His armor class is 14 plus your proficiency, and then his hit
Mhm.
points is 5 plus 5 times your ranger level.
That sounds
And
right.
That tracks.
And then
Yeah.
his saving throws are his dex and whiz saving throw are plus your proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah.
Cool.
That's pretty much all I have for you all.
Yep.
You
Sounds
guys
good. Thank you so
have
much.
a good night. Yeah. I'm gonna turn off the stream now. Bye.
That's good night.